So Hulk versus Godzilla is gonna happen. So consider this a Prelude 2.0, if you will, because but I feel like we all saw this coming, we just didn't know when it was. But with everything going on now and the current Marvel comics, I do think it is time we addressed it. So let's talk about it. Starting off with Hulk's track record on Death Battle, just like I did in the original. It's never been good. They somehow find a way to downplay and undersell the Hulk somehow. In Hulk versus Broly, he didn't have the speed to keep up with him, nor did he have the raw power, but he had the physical strength and durability. And yet Broly, who barely has anything, somehow won that, right? Then you have Hulk versus Doomsday, where they literally lowballed the Hulk, saying that his rage was around the human limits, and they were also talking about the human gland that produces rage. And so, yeah, that was horrible. And keep in mind, Hulk versus Broly's calcs were used in Vegeta versus Thor. And considering Vegeta was more powerful than Broly with Ultra Ego, yeah, by their logic, Vegeta should have won that, but I guess Thor just had way too many energy absorption hacks. Crazy, ain't it? Now, when it comes down to the Hulk versus Godzilla thing, or sorry, not the Hulk versus Godzilla, Godzilla in Marvel, right? That is canon. Whether y'all like it or not, Godzilla's whooping out the mainline 616 verse, unfortunately. While with DC, it's pretty cut and dry with, Godzilla fighting an alternate DC universe that's just as strong as the Prime Earth, or at least base levels of the Prime Earth before, Superman and Lois had John Kent and stuff, and probably before Batman even met Damian and stuff like that. So you unfortunately have that to deal with. Plus, there's also Godzilla destroys the Marvel Universe. Oh god, this is gonna be horrible, and I feel so bad for saying this, but I do think Hulk is gonna get creamed in this one. And believe it or not, I think they're gonna make it look like it's a fight, but then somehow undersell the Hulk, while, Godzilla's just gonna get his Dwayne The Rock Johnson levels of, glaze and stuff like that. So it's actually unfortunate. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Godzilla waking up and he had a celestial shook. Literally chased it from the underground, and he just kills it. Like it fights back, or at least it tries to, and it's Godzilla. I hate to say it like it is, but it's just Godzilla. You know good and well he's gonna win, unless you are the top four menaces in this verse: Monster X, Destroyer, King Ghidorah, and Space Godzilla. And again, that's just in aura and all entirely. If you are not those four, or some Godzilla monster that's able to literally give him a fight, matter of fact, if you're not any Godzilla monster, unfortunately, you're not beating the big guy. But let's also talk about the icing on the cake that I think kind of does it in for Hulk here. And this isn't because, the classic days of him one-shotting, Godzilla right there. So this is current Thor, by the way. And Godzilla knocks him out with a tail pimp slap. Okay, he literally just looks at Thor and then just says, yeah, no, bye. And smacks this dude so hard, he goes into space and he's unconscious. Now, this possesses so many problems for Hulk, especially when it comes to, like, the scaling and the power, because this Thor and Fractured Sun Hulk, by the way, have fought. It was a little bit of a fight. There was really not too many reasons for it, but in all honesty, it's just, it just didn't look good. Like, Thor had a clear upper hand on him, and it was just a straight up physical confrontation. Something that Hulk would actually, favor in some ways. But again, Thor had the upper hand for a large majority of their exchanges, which once again is usually one of the few reasons why Hulk versus Thor is usually so heavily debated. If you want my honest opinion about it, yes, I do favor Thor because he has the hexes and the versatility to put down the Hulk if writers did actually use him properly. He's got all the stuff on there. Like, some of the stuff Hulk can resist, but there's certain levels to it. Y'all gotta understand that. And the fact that Hulk, and him had a back and forth, likely a stalemate if you want to call it that, but the fact that you could also cement that him one-shotting this Thor puts him above anything Hulk can do, or Hulk has pretty much done against this Thor so far, is actually a much more scarier thought for, well, having to deal with Godzilla in general, or having to deal with any of the other feats in Godzilla. Because there's no way they're not going to use this comics or these comic runs to give Godzilla all these feats. I mean, Hulk has, yeah, I get it. Hulk also has decades of comics under his belt. He's got his Immortal Hulk run, which was phenomenal. I kind of got annoyed with the whole resurrection and non-resurrection process. Like, if he's immortal, then just keep him that way. There should be no reason why, the Green Door and stuff exists. And then the One Below All was just a whole wasted thing here. But again, as you guys, going on this tangent, you guys are all seeing the feats of, Immortal Thor and All-Father Thor and stuff like that. His feats are just, he's got more quality feats than the Hulk, if you will. It's unfortunate to say, but Godzilla here also could have verse superiority. Now, what do I mean by that, right? This is where a character's verse has been stated or shown to be above another. The Godzilla monsters that have so far participated in Marvel Comics have been King Ghidorah, Kumonga, Hedorah, and I think Larva Mothra. And Mechagodzilla as well. So, yeah. Mechagodzilla was actually stated to be one of the most powerful military weapons on the planet, with Stark's tech combined with it. Keep in mind, this is Showa era Mechagodzilla as well. So, with that being said, combined it with Stark tech, it was one of the most powerful weapons on Earth. And keep in mind, Bruce Banner himself also said this here and was actually using one of the suits. And keep in mind, sorry, I'm probably say that, like, keep that in mind, though, that they also had Iron Man's technology. And even back then, classic days Iron Man's full power of the suit was able to knock out the Hulk as well, unfortunately. And keep in mind, that's just with Marvel so far. He's got Power Rangers scaling, DC Comics scaling, okay? Dungeons and Dragons scaling, and the Cthulhu. The Cthulhu comic as well also has, its own mythos scaling and stuff like that. Even if it's still one version of Cthulhu. He still has the Elder God Pantheon and stuff like that to scale off of. Dungeons and Dragons, he's got the material plane and stuff to scale off of. Godzilla, unfortunately, has a vastly wider range of scaling than Hulk does, unfortunately. You might say, well, you could just get Hulk to multiverse or the outerverse so quite casually off his feet, right? Yeah. But here's the thing, right? Godzilla also has other verses, like I said, a wider range of scaling that you can just choose from. And it would still give him the outerversal at the end of the day. Meanwhile, you just have to really focus on 616 Hulk. And even if we use the standard IDW comics with, like, Godzilla in Hell, Godzilla Rules in Earth, and stuff like that, and apparently I've seen some Heisei era scaling, which also gets to outerversal. So scaling him to, like, beings or scaling him to, like, gods as well. You can even say, Godzilla has dealt with gods as well, like Yamato no Orochi, Utsuno Iku Zagami, and stuff like that. You see, there is way too much backing Godzilla in his corner than Hulk does. And again, let's circle back to Hulk's track record on Death Battle. He is not treated properly. Honestly, I'd probably say he gets treated worse than the Transformers on the channel, and that's saying a lot considering I went hard on Megatron versus Frieza and Galactus versus Unicron, and then I also talked about how with Galvatron versus Silver Surfer they got the information, the proper information, and just didn't use it. And he said that, he kind of treated like that was whatever. Even in a standard debate format, they just seem to kind of like say, okay, well, this is whatever, we'll just leave it to the fans to decide, knowing good and well that people will be biased towards one side or another. Matter of fact, let's also talk about that as well. This is going to be very interesting going forward when it comes to both sides, because again, people still use Death Battle as a legit source. Now, do you want to smack them upside the head and tell them to actually go down to some proper channels that actually have some proper scaling? Yes, but y'all have to understand here the fact that people also view Death Battle as a legit source for information. We also have to talk about the fact that this is going to be very, in an internet way, bloody for Godzilla and Hulk fans. People arguing everything that Hulk has done over the years, even going so far as to probably go like, yeah, he could drain the radiation out of Godzilla, but then Godzilla fans gonna be like, yeah, that's why your boy got one-shotted all them years ago. Oh, well, that doesn't apply to current Hulk. Yeah, but apparently he also had his time with current Thor. Yeah, that ain't gonna go so well now, is it? Yeah, it just doesn't. Because again, most of these characters should be at their current power levels. Again, now the current Godzilla, runs where he's fighting things like Fantastic Four and X-Men do take place at certain time periods. But again, they still could scale right back to current day 616 characters. Especially with the whole X-Men comic thing, where he literally had to fight a super adaptoid. That's what it was. A super adaptoid powered by all the X-Men's powers, and that included the Phoenix Force. So again, you have that scaling to go off as well, with the Phoenix actually being able to go, I guess you could say, somewhat in terms of power capacity with a Death Stone Thanos here. And again, I'm not denying anything Hulk has done. That man is a demon, all right? He's a beast. A god on the battlefield, all right? He's one of the strongest Avengers out there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But again, with everything going on with Godzilla in the current Marvel Universe, that celestial feat is also very hard to overlook here. Because again, he simply did it so casually. You don't say, oh, it's a random celestial. Do y'all know random celestials can do? Those beings, a random celestial is still above somebody like Odin. Quite casually. Like prime Odin. Like, that's not no simple feat at all. They're still able to fight against beings like Galactus as well. And if Ultraman also resides in the Marvel Universe, well, I mean, currently he does, but we don't know if it's 616 or an alternate Earth. Definitely gonna have to write that down for the kaiju section, because we got to get some Ultraman love on this channel here. But believe it or not, I think that it's hard for me to say this. It really is, because I'm tired of how certain characters get treated unfairly. Now, if they do a fair analysis on the information, I would take back what I said, at least this time around. And believe it or not, Death Battle sometimes does, I'm going to say this, sometimes does get the right stuff. But unfortunately, it's just on some occasions, or a large majority of the time, they mess up horribly and botch the information out of pure biasness. And again, you guys have seen my debunks and preludes playlist. It's filled with mainly Death Battle and that Slob Danko, but that's besides the point. So with that being said here, we also have to talk about one thing: win cons. I probably should have talked about this earlier, but we really got to talk about the win cons here. What is Hulk's win con against Godzilla? Now, he only has two that are easily, said, but also debunkable, unfortunately. Well, not debunkable, but more countered, I should say. Hulk has gotten stronger over the years, especially when it comes to the likes of Thanos, you know? He went from being literally bullied by Thanos to from, 24/7 to the fact that he's gotten close enough to him to where now he's a challenge to the point where okay, now he's really on his level and he's a legit threat. Okay, that is great progress in all honesty. Still a team buster, but again, it becomes more easier for him when he's able to fight against certain Avengers like Iron Man and on some occasions Thor. Yeah, Hulk has gotten stronger and tougher over the years as well. But so has Godzilla. You see, the reason why this is such a easy to counter thing is one, the Godzilla that fought, the Avengers back then was Showa Godzilla. And keep in mind, a one shot is a 10 times difference. So Godzilla was 10 times stronger than anything Classic Hulk did, right? Meaning Showa Godzilla is 10 times stronger than anything Hulk did. And so, with the fact that Godzilla went on to fight against Thor, Hercules, characters that have given Hulk a run for his money, especially during that time period as well, okay? And he was straining them beyond belief. And then he went on to fight monsters who are known to be the most powerful enemies he's ever faced, that being Batragon, Yeti, and somebody else who were empowered by the Life Stone, which gave them unimaginable power, thus giving them that whole strongest enemies they ever faced kind of thing. And yet, they were beaten by him. Oh, well, what about the madder he gets, the stronger he gets? Well, so can Godzilla. He also has a rage boost here, and it's actually quite devastating to the point where he was able to overpower other monsters that were able to overpower his base. So the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets as well. Oh wait, we also have that. There is also Heisei Godzilla. Oh boy, this is gonna be pretty fun, right? So Heisei scales above everything in Showa. This would mean that they could easily use this to put Heisei above Marvel Comics, or at least OG Marvel Comics Godzilla. But there is also one more thing that I hate to say this, but would honestly do Hulk in, and that is God Butcher Godzilla. A Godzilla that received the power of the all black Necro Sword. Keep in mind, they have given characters power-ups they really never should have had in the first place, so this is likely something that could easily happen. And the fact that oh boy, the fact that they gave him only a sliver of the all back and it fused with his DNA to the point where he was able to slaughter Asgard as well, and then went on to fight All Father Thor. This is still, Immortal Thor, by the way. And he straight up, they both killed each other throughout the cosmos as well, destroying everything. Essentially a new Ragnarok, if you will. So Godzilla himself has already proven that he's got way more win cons than the Hulk, unfortunately, or at least better counters than the Hulk. And the only way I could really see Hulk winning is via his intelligence. But what is he going to do? Is he going to run off and get some anti-Godzilla weapon in order to kill him? That would be unfair because, again, Hulk needed to run away from a full confrontation in order to actually, get a killing blow on Godzilla, which would have looked worse in the fans' eyes as well. And in all honesty, it's not good. It really isn't. Godzilla has just about everything. He can keep up with Hulk's strength. He can react to Hulk's speed. He's got feats that may even put Hulk to shame, especially when it comes down to like the Marvel comic stuff. And then, as I stated earlier, the verse superiority. See, one of the few things I know was going to happen is that the only way this could even possibly go in Hulk's favor is if it's a draw. Keep in mind, they only done this, I think, one time on Death Battle. And that was Chuck Norris versus somebody else with the whole meme thing and stuff like that. So it's very possible that this could result in a stalemate because they can't even kill each other. And even then, if they find some way to kill either one, it's not going to be a good excuse overall. That's the irony of this. It's not going to be a good excuse for how one person or how one being killed the other. But it's a death match. They're going to have to fight to the death. So whoever, I guess you can say, dies first is going to be the, well, winner. But again, they both have these extreme and over-the-top healing factors. So it's an absolute no in all honesty. Overall, I don't see Hulk winning. Godzilla has way too much for him. And the Thor feat by itself just kind of cements it, in all honesty. But that's going to be all for today, you guys. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think Hulk is going to get done dirty? Do you guys think that Godzilla is going to just straight up lose this one somehow in some way without the whole his Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson level contract and stuff, though, even though these feats would be canon anyway, so it's just not gonna matter whether that man is certified plot armor with Goku's Kaioken times 10 and stuff like that. So it is what it is at this point. You know, I can't even say anything about it, but I guess I'm gonna roll with Godzilla until I actually see them, you know, maybe do the Hulk some justice. But that is going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. And again, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Peace.